Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage and a small project update video, and there's a bird on the road. Watch it. Thank you. You join me in the 300D Mercedes Benz. I haven't done any work to it since the last video on this. I'm still puzzled about the problem really, but the next step is undoubtedly a proper compression test on all the cylinders to see if they are good. So I'm waiting on the parts or the tools to do a proper compression test on this to make sure that we're not having a compression problem, because at this point it would be a waste of time to try more stuff before we are sure that the basic engine is all right, and there's a lot of things that points towards something being wrong there. But I would like to say a big thanks to you guys already, because I have gotten so much good information, emails, comments about the possible problems that this car has, and I have so many leads to go on now. That's really great. One of the extremely cool parts about this YouTube channel thing is that I do not only have my own brain to try to figure out this problem, but because of these videos I got thousands of people's opinions and thoughts about the problem. And of course it is very difficult to be sitting behind a TV screen and trying to diagnose a problem, but the input I get is so valuable, so thank you for that. Anyway, I'm doing a test drive in it today just to for sure feel how it actually runs when it's up to temperature and all that. As I told you in the video, it's running really well as long as it's not idling. It's the idle that's a problem. But there is a possibility that it's actually running bad all the time, but because the engine is so big you don't really notice it. I'm going to try to feel it a bit more on this test drive. Also keep an eye on the exhaust smoke and so on. But it is, as mentioned, pulling really strongly, this car, and not extremely, but just a lot better than what I'm normally used to with these old taxis. So but it is supposed to have 120 horsepower, which is a lot, especially in diesel power. So of course it is going to get a move on when you floor it. You can hear the idle, it's terrible. Off idle, everything is well, and it's just pulling away. It's pretty quick. There is some gearbox issues though. It is shifting in a weird pattern, but that could be just old oil on the gearbox, it could be a water gearbox, and it could be misadjustment. There's a lot of things that you could try on that, and it's my experience that these transmissions are really solid and can be driven with a lot of weird faults and still just go on and go on. Oh well, but I would like to give you a small project update on all the projects. I know that I have a lot, and I actually just got another one yesterday, so I'm gonna make a little guessing contest on that one. But let's take a look at them all. There is the Lada. The Lada is driving pretty well. I took it to a classic meet the other day with a for sale sign in the window, trying to find someone who would like to take on that running project, as I would describe it. It is running really nice. The engine is really running well, pulling a lot better than it did before the rebuild, which is a nice bonus. And yeah, it's running pretty well. The gearbox is noisy. It's getting better, I would say, and it's not that bad, but it is there. I think it could go on like that for a long time, but there is some bearings in there that are wanting their part of the fame. But it's for sale, and it's right now just standing at my storage because I have a lot of cars standing around my house and I don't want too many cars standing outside. Next in the bunch is the Austin Metro, the longest ongoing project at Seaside Garage. The first car I made any videos on at all. It's the beginning of it all. Who knows, it could end up also being the ending. I just don't know when it's going to be finished, but to be honest, it's not that far off being ready. Next up is the Ford Escort, and as you can see, it's standing in my storage facility, even though I'm currently making a video series on it. And for the first time ever in Seaside Garage, the videos are not coming out the same day as they are filmed. I actually got the rest of the rescue mission on the Ford Escort already filmed and done. I just need to edit it, but I am a bit busy at the moment and therefore it's not going in the same fashion as normal. But yesterday I drove the Escort out of the garage, and you'll just have to wait on the last of the videos on that project. Next up is the Saab 900 Turbo Commander. And each and every time I talk about that car, I am getting so excited about getting to work with it because it's such a cool car. It's a rather big project, but it's such a cool car, and it's going to be an amazing classic daily for me at one point, that's for sure. The paintwork scares me on that one. The roof is completely bubbled away, and there's so much stuff that needs to be painted really. In a previous video I talked about only the roof maybe needed painting and the bonnet, but it's, to be honest, the whole car, and I think it's too big of a job for me to handle. On the other hand, I am not seeing into a future where I would be able to afford a professional paint job, so I don't really know what to do about that. But I would like to do that car justice. But first thing is to fix the rather serious rust and get the engine to run a bit better. And yeah, there's stuff to be done on that. Next up is the Datsun 120Y. It's for sale as well. I took it to another classic show last week, and it's turning a lot of heads, but I think it's going to be a tough one to sell, to be honest. I might have overshot the price slightly, but I don't know. But there's just not a big crowd for that kind of car. There's a lot of people who would like to talk about it and look at it, but I don't think a lot of people would like to own it, which is a weird thing really, because it's an awesome car and it runs so nice, and it's perfectly usable as a daily in my opinion. And then there is the Citroen BX 4x4 Estate or Break, and I actually just got suspension spheres for that. I need some tooling to make the lines. When I get that, I will try to figure out if the suspension is any good on that car. That is the next job on that. I need the suspension to work to be able to move it without. It's such a problem to move it at the moment. But that will be the next one on that one, and hopefully that will happen soon. The camper is just hanging around waiting for the opportunity to take some kind of vacation and go somewhere. It's so cool, but as mentioned many times before, it's very expensive to have registered. Therefore, I'm really not using it a lot. I would like to take it on small day trips from time to time, but the costs are just too much. But in 2 or 3 years time, it's going to be 35 years. That makes the registration costs drop by 75%, which is a lot. And by then I hope to have it on plates all the time so we can use it just for a spontaneous trip or something like that. Oh, the pickup is for sale as well, not mine. The Renault 5 GT Turbo is just hanging around. It's my old Renault 5 GT Turbo that I no longer own, but am driving from time to time, and I also do some work on it from time to time. I am happy to have that car in my life still. Then there is the Mehari. I'm going to continue on the suspension, hopefully within a couple of weeks, so I can get that down on the ground and onto its own wheels. That I'm also looking forward to. Then there is the two cars that I'm currently using a lot. The Lancia A112 Abarth is running better than ever after that track alignment video I made a while back. Now it's handling a lot better, and I really didn't think that was possible, but it is a lot better now. It's more predictable in the wet. The Princess, oh, the Princess, I'm driving that a lot at the moment. It's a nice driver, it's fun, it's comfortable, and it is turning a lot of heads. The funny thing about it is that no one seemed to remember them. Even those who do remember them remember a lot of wrong stuff about them. They all think it's a Rover V8, and yeah, but people who don't know what it is are coming with a lot of interesting guesses, like Simca and Talbot and Lancia for that matter. It's just, especially the front end of that car is just, it's just something special. So that's the fleet, and then there are all the mopeds. I am taking a break on the mopeds for the moment, and there's no really reason for that other than the fact that I don't really enjoy working on them at the moment. I think it's because the summer is not really started, and the fun thing about working on mopeds is to jump on them and take them for a drive in the sun. But if it's cold and all that, I just don't really feel like it. So I think it will come back at some point, but not right now. And there are projects coming on the channel, of course, new projects. I just got one, another one is on its way, and a third one, which is not mine, but is going to be a co-op with a Danish podcast, is also coming. But the one that came yesterday is one of those cars that I always wanted to have, but really never thought would be possible to get my hands on. It's a really rare car, and I think I'm only gonna give one lead, no, two leads, because my channel actually is described as being about hot hatches from the 80s, and for a while I haven't really gotten any of those. The Lancia A112 is a hot hatch from the 80s, but for some reason I don't really see it as a hot hatch, but it is. But this one is a hot hatch from the 80s, and I'm not gonna say much more than that, but what I can say is a lot of people in the world are currently owning something that they almost always have on them, on their person, that got the name of this car written on it. And I'm not gonna say anything else than that. Anyway, please consider becoming a Patreon if you would like some behind the scenes footage from time to time, some Q&A videos and stuff like that. I am neglecting it a little bit, but it is a big help for me and this project of trying to make a living out of this hobby that I have, trying to save old rotten cars. So consider that if you want. And all there's left to say is thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.